where barely 1 in 10 low-income students will ever graduate from college. I do not accept an America where we do nothing about the fact that half of all teenagers are unable to understand basic fractions, where nearly 9 in 10 African American and Latino 8th graders are not proficient in math. I do not accept an America where elementary school kids are only getting an average of 25 minutes of science each day, when we know that over 80% of the fastest growing jobs require a knowledge base in math and science. This kind of America is unacceptable. It's morally unacceptable for our children. It's economically untenable for our future. And it's not who we are as a country. We're not a these kids nation. We are not a these kids nation. We're an our kids nation. We are the nation that's always understood that our future is inextricably linked to the education of our children. All of them. We're the country that has always believed in Thomas Jefferson's declaration that talent and virtue needed in a free society should be educated regardless of wealth or birth. And by the way, this is not just an idea that is economically sound, it has also been an idea that helped us develop the citizenry that's prepared for our democracy. It's this belief that led America to set up the first free public schools in small New England towns. It's a promise we kept as we moved from a nation of farms to factories and created a system of public high schools like this one so that everyone had a chance to succeed in a new economy. It's a promise we expanded after World War II when America gave my grandfather and over 2 million returning veterans the chance to go to college on the GI Bill. And when America has fallen short of this promise, when we forced Linda Brown to walk miles to a dilapidated Topeka school because of the color of her skin, it was ordinary Americans who marched and bled, who took to the streets and fought in the courts until the arrival of 9 little children at Little Rock School made real the decision that an America separate can never be. That's who we are. That's why I stand here today. Because somebody at some point stood up when it was hard, stood up when it was risky. Because even though my mother didn't have a lot of money, scholarships helped give me a chance to go to some of the best schools in the country. And I am running for President of the United States because I want to give every American child the same chances that I had. In this election, at this defining moment, we can decide that this century will be another American century by making a historic commitment to education. We can make a commitment that's more than just the rhetoric of a campaign, one that's more than another empty promise made by a politician looking for your vote. I often say that the problem with No Child Left Behind is that George Bush left the money behind. And it wasn't just him either. It's pretty popular to bash No Child Left Behind out on the campaign trail. But when it was being debated in Congress 4 years ago, my colleague from Illinois, Dick Durbin, offered everyone a chance to vote so that the law couldn't be enforced unless it was fully funded. A lot of senators, including Senator Edwards and Senator Clinton, passed on that chance. And I believe that was a serious mistake. Because I think we all agree that the goals of this law were the right ones. They sound good on paper. Making a promise to educate every child with an excellent teacher is right. Closing the achievement gap that exists in too many cities and rural areas is right. Making sure that necessary resources and qualified teachers are distributed equitably among every city and small town is right. More accountability is right. Higher standards are right. But I'll tell you what's wrong with No Child Left Behind. Forcing our teachers, our principals, and our schools to accomplish all of this without the resources they need is wrong. Promising high-quality teachers in every classroom and then leaving the support and the pay for those teachers behind is wrong. labeling a school and its students as failures one day, and then throwing up your hands and walking away from them the next is wrong. And by the way, don't tell us that the only way to teach a child is to spend most of the year preparing him or her to fill in a few bubbles on a standardized test. Don't tell us that these tests have to come at the expense of music, or art, or physical education, or science. We are educating the whole child. We are not educating a child to take a test. These tests shouldn't come at the expense of a well-rounded education. They should help complete that well-rounded education. The teachers I've met didn't devote their lives to testing. Jane didn't devote all those years to testing. They devoted them to teaching. And teaching our children is what they should be allowed to do. The fact is, No Child Left Behind has done more to stigmatize and demoralize our students and teachers in struggling schools than it has to marshal the talent and determination and the resources to turn them around. What's wrong with No Child Left Behind?